Whatever you think that might be the most difficult thing in your life at that point in time may not be the really difficult time.
What advice would you give to, let's say, a young Australian who wants to start up a tech company in, say, 2025?
The best advice I would give is that find a real problem that you can solve. If you could do that quick enough, then you got a business.
What is the biggest myth about AI?
Is that AI is going to replace humans and there'll be some roles that will be gone that are completely automated, but there will be a lot more new roles that are augmented by AI.
Yeah. How important and critical is the willingness to change, and not just within you, but everyone else that is working with you?
Look, I think that, people change either because it's so painful not to change or it's so pleasurable to change. Believe that it is really comfortable for everybody to change before the pain forces us to change. Entrepreneurial journey is actually a journey full of twists and turns and failures and pain and suffering. But if you enjoy that game, if you enjoy that grunt, I think that you will have enough passion to go and you will inevitably find success in that path.
Welcome to another episode of Talk with Jey by Udawwa. As you know, our program is the one that motivates you, hopefully, and also the program that encourages entrepreneurship, identifies people who have done it and bringing those people into the program and talk about the risks and challenges and what made them to become entrepreneurs. And purpose of our program is to one day to make you, the listener, an entrepreneur as well. Today, we're here to uncover the story, the mindset, and the insight that shaped one of Australia's best tech entrepreneurs, Mr. Jey Srikantha. Welcome to Talk with Jey.
Pleased to be here, Dilip.
So you are the founder of Jeylabs, one of the fastest growing IT companies. Give us a brief intro on how it all started.
So Dilip, the story of Jeylabs is interesting. I always wanted to be a business tycoon, even when I was a child. That was influenced by some of the very successful people in our family and the extended network. When I graduated and started working as a software engineer and then later as a consultant, I had encountered consulting companies, big end-of-town companies, and I was appalled at the service and the arrogance and the lack of care they had for small businesses. So when the GFC hit Australia in 2008-9 timeframe, I had the opportunity to start my own business, and I grabbed that opportunity with both hands and started the company with the principles of caring for a customer and having real innovation. And that how Jeylabs started in the midst of the crisis in 2009, and that vision served us really well.
Thank you for that intro. Now, what keeps you motivated through these personal and professional challenges that you must be facing every day, setting up an organization like this and running it also?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, in the midst of GFC, the cash flow was pretty tight. Not a lot of customers had excess funds to be able to invest in business transformation projects. So we actually had to be very nimble and focus on the key things that they needed to survive and thrive in that sort of GFC environment. So we use technology in innovative ways to automate their processes, eliminate bottlenecks, improve their cash flow. And that was a challenge, an intellectual challenge for us. Luckily, because I was coming from a consulting background, really good network of connections, I was able to find projects. Many people actually requested my services without me having to do a lot of outbound marketing. And that helped us with finding customers. Initially, it was just me and it's all me. And then within 3-6 months, I realized I needed to get more people. And then we slowly started hiring people and was able to grow a company and the customer base. The challenges were very much like any other small business that's starting, because initially you don't really have a brand. You have to rely on your network, and you have to be the person that's selling out there, marketing, promoting, and also delivering the services. So it was really about being able to wear those multiple hats. And that was the part that I really enjoyed. At the same time, that was the one that really challenged me. So I have to work very hard, be able to serve those customers in that challenging environment. I learned a lot in that process, but it was a lot of hard work and believing in myself and wanting to really take that opportunity to fulfill that sort of childhood dream.
Yep.
That drove me to really go through all that.
So after facing a life-changing event in 2015, some of our viewers would be interested to know, did your perspective on business and life change? And what was that event?
Yeah, so as you can probably see that I'm actually on a wheelchair at the moment. So in 2014, I had to go through a surgery to sort of fix up a prolapsed back that didn't, prolapsed disc that didn't work out well. And I ended up being a paraplegic. That was actually very shocking, unimaginable. And, it's just, you were to think that, if life changing in a moment, upside down, that was it. And our business was about 5 years old, but luckily we had a lot of people working in the business, and there was enough customers. There were sales guys, and the business was sort of growing. It survived that the 3-year sort of deadline, and doing really well in its 5th year. But as soon as people knew that I'm in this sort of predicament, there was a lack of confidence in the staff and some of the customers. So we lost some staff, some customers in that period, because I was actually in a rehab for about 6 months, to sort of figuring out what is this new thing, a new reality is about for me. And that was a very challenging time, because I was away from my family. You are in a rehab. I had 2 young children. My son was just 1 plus. So it was really challenging, but I was lucky to have a very wonderful, loving, supporting family and friends network around me, which really, really helped me through that tough time. And the staff, some of my early staff members were, really backed me up with a lot of those challenges. Some of them had to work harder and take more responsibility, because I wasn't physically available to go and meet customers or to deal with difficult situations. But I also work hard. I was probably the one guy at the rehab, wearing earpieces and a laptop and moving around the ward and doing work all the time. But look, working also helped me while I was at the rehab, because that kind of helped me focus on what is important for me. Obviously, running Jeylabs was a critical thing there.
If I asked you in one sentence, tell if someone's going to a catastrophic event today or life-changing event today that they're faced right now, and they think it's probably the end of the world, what would you tell them right now?
I would say that whatever you think that might be the most difficult thing in your life at that point in time may not be the really difficult time in your life, because we all have to deal with things that get thrown at us. Some of those things we can't control, but there are a lot of things, even in those dark times, that you can control. So you can have a very positive mindset, because you can always see the glass as half full or half empty. So I'm a half full guy. And I think if you could somehow, through that pain, to be able to see the positive side of that, and to remember why you are here, the kind of people around you, the lives that you could change, you could influence, you could support, I think that will give you the strength to go through anything, any challenges. Now, not everyone will have the benefits that I had, but at the same time, I think that life is precious, and we are all here for a purpose. And I think that if we could find a purpose, even in those tough times, the universe would definitely help us get out of that problem, or to manage and come out of that situation. There's always light at the end of the tunnel.
If I ask you what this work intelligently means to you in this day and age, what is it?
Work intelligently is our tagline, and we had that since sort of 2017, 18 timeframe. And for us, it's about being able to work in a way that is sustainable, that is smart and innovative, and also kind of living your purpose or delivering on the purpose of your mission, right? If you look at the technology and the times that we are living in the AI era, there is an abundance of intelligence that's available on tap. So, obviously, making use of that is part of in this tech sector that we work in is one thing, but also being able to sort of choose what to do, what to automate, when to automate, how do you work with your people. So there's a lot kind of encompasses in that statement. To me, that is very important because I believe that we are an intelligent species, and we really need to work in an intelligent way that is ever improving. So in order to sort of gauge whether we are working in such a fashion is to sort of look at it and say, well, how did we do something yesterday versus last year versus last month and today versus tomorrow? And that way of working has to be improving. It has to be bringing us the benefits that we are seeking from that piece of work, or it has to increase the amount of joy that comes out of it. So that's the kind of mantra that we kind of live our work lives by.
How did you spot opportunities like Power Tools and Predict Cyber?
So in the early days of Jeylabs, we were working on a workflow automation platform called K2. And we were one of the top tech talent around that platform across the globe. And we noticed that there were challenges around the quality, ensuring the quality of those applications being produced on the platform. And we were doing a lot of manual testing, a lot of repetitive testing to ensure that the solutions were delivered because we care about our customers a lot. We were looking at automating those manual test scenarios, and we thought of that as an opportunity for us to come up with a tool because we have lots of customers that were using that platform. So if we were to automate a particular customer's environment, we could actually do that across multiple. So we saw that opportunity to create some intellectual property, and that's what became Power Tools. And it was a very successful product for us, enlisted as one of those export awards for bringing quite a lot of revenue into this country.
Now, I'm not a tech expert at all, right? But from what it sounds like, for your company to grow this far in such a short period of time, there's been a smooth experience for your customers.
Yes.
So in the back end, it would have been full of so many mistakes.
Yes.
What's the most valuable mistake you've made?
Yeah. So this was an early thing for me. So when I started, and this is great for probably everybody listening to this as well, often entrepreneurs start something because they're so passionate and they got an idea and they want to do something. But what happens is we think that we are the ones that has to do all of it and every piece of it. And this is the sort of the beginner's excitement, like you want to do this. So you're like, okay, I want to write the website copy. I want to manage the project. I also want to recruit people. I also want to do everything pretty much. Now, clearly there's only 24 hours a day. Even if you work, 16 hours a day, it's never going to be enough, and you're never going to be able to grow a company and keep doing this. So that was a mistake I made in the sort of first few years. But then luckily I was able to kind of spot that through some mentors that I had. That was a clear thing that I understood that I had to change. So I had to sort of find the right people, hire them, trust them, and delegate those responsibilities. So the fastest ways to grow is to actually find right people, systemize and optimize, and then delegate with trust, so that the company can be spearheaded by more than one brain and more than one passionate person, and that's the way to really grow fast. But it takes an understanding of that, because you can't often let go of that control, and also build a trust. So that's a sensing thing, because if you look at Jeylabs, my name Jey is in the company, so it's really very personal to me. So it's really about learning to trust people and delegate.
Because we've seen a lot of tech organizations or tech companies starting up, not all of them going the distance at some points. Some are just no longer here, or some seems to start off with a bang and not survive or really struggle. What advice would you give to, let's say, a young Australian who wants to start up a tech company in, say, 2025?
So if somebody, looking to start a business now in Australia, the best advice I would give is that find a real problem that you can solve. That could be a problem that you may have experienced. Most of us experience something,
Some
that we think, some bottleneck, some issue, or in my case, that you get really annoyed at that something, and then you would validate that problem, right, with real customers, real paying customers. If you could do that quick enough, then you got a business, you got a winning idea. Now, it's okay to pivot. So, for example, you may say that I want to start in a business in this area, but you may realize that you uncovered something, you learned something. Perhaps the business model is wrong, perhaps the way you deliver is wrong, perhaps the messaging is not right. You need to tune it and to get it right. So if you look at that, I've actually started Jeylabs, but under Jeylabs we have to sort of sometimes change things, or create new sub brands and go to market with it to be able to test and tune things. And there were many ideas that actually failed. We had many product ideas, many things that we invested that were shut down as well, because the market no longer had a need, because there was a compelling competitive offering was in the market. Yeah. So you have to accept that entrepreneurial journey is actually a journey, full of twists and turns and failures and pain and suffering. Yeah. But if you enjoy that game, if you enjoy that grunt, I think that you will have enough passion to go, and you will inevitably find success in that part. But it's really continuously tuning and changing. I mean, just before this interview, I was talking to one of our guys that I actually thought that we hired, and we're going through this sort of engagement, and the person decided not to go ahead. So now I have to figure out, what do I do with that particular? So it's every day you'll get challenges, but that's the fun of it. That's the real fun bit of being an entrepreneur.
Thank you, Jey. AI is really changing the game out here, because we hear that every day about AI. There's some sort of use of AI. You and I are using it every day, I'm sure. How is AI changing the mood of business and society in your view?
So AI is already here. We used to say, the artificial intelligence is the future, that's the next frontier and so on. But AI is already here, and in a big way. And it's actually changing the game in terms of bringing intelligence, real intelligence. Like you're talking about PhD level intelligence, multiple PhDs in a single agent or a single conversation. You have access to that level of knowledge and creativity and reasoning. That is true. That is available. Of course, there are hallucinations, there are occasional error messages, and other problems that we are uncovering. But 80-90% of the cases, everybody in this world have access to this unprecedented level of intelligence. Now, what does that mean? That means that anyone who has access to a computer or mobile phone or internet browser can and should use this technology. In terms of small businesses, they are so busy day to day looking at their operations, serving their customers, solving these sort of human resource issues, the regulations, compliance, and all that. What they have to do is to allocate some time to learn about this technology, interact with technology. And the best use case I can recommend is to use it as an idea sparring partner. Someone like a co-founder. You can treat the AI as such and ask questions to come up with strategies, bounce off ideas, and then use that and implement some strategies with the teams. There are certain things that every business can really start using AI with. Voice AI is really, really big, and it's affordable. There's no need to have an IVR anymore. You can actually have an AI-based voice agent that is taking your customer calls. You can have an AI agent that is summarizing and answering company policy-related questions. You can have it train and support your new employees. So there's a lot of simple ways you can build these things up without having to spend a lot of money. So I would encourage businesses to do that. With Jeylabs, we offer consulting services around this sort of thing. And this is the best way for businesses, small business, to get started. And they will see massive amounts of benefits and return on their investment in this area alone. And it is keep changing, and there is more things coming. And I think that that is real. And there are some challenges, but I think that most people that invest and take advantage of this AI that is available right now will be very, very happy in the near term.
So you are someone that sounds like someone who knows systems pretty well yourself, and you know how to maneuver things around, as this conversation is probably evident of that. How should a business go about it if they do have limited resource, if they want to automate? How should they go about it?
So I think that you got to first understand the most critical aspects of your business, the key processes, and your information and your data and the security around it. So that is an exercise that every business has to go through to sort of know what they have, what information have, what's their database, what are their processes. And then to look at the most laborious ones, the one with the most friction, and the one that is most repetitive. And to be able to look at that particular thing to be the case for AI-based automation. And that is where the businesses are going to see the most benefit, the biggest bang for their buck, so to say. So if they could do that, I think they will be on a very good path to success. There's a lot of help around this. We would be happy to advise people on these sort of challenges. But I think the best ways to do is to really start with your processes and your data and have an understanding about that, and then go with the one that's going to give you the most return on that automation.
Thank you. So with platforms like eTheory, Power Tools, what problems are you keen on solving next?
So Dilip, we started with test automation when we built Power Tools. We knew there was a painful problem the key set of users of the K2 platform faced. With eTheory, we are looking at solving the financial bookkeeping solution for the masses. And these two have kind of led us to the next wave of sort of technology, where we're looking at bringing AI and cybersecurity, who are the biggest problems that we are facing as a society, because those two have huge impacts to the way the technologies are utilized in human communication and collaboration. So we are really looking at infusing the two in our solutions. So I'm actually working at a stealth startup at the moment, and we are applying these technologies in there. And so that is what I'm really passionate about, bringing these technologies into the application layer and infusing them seamlessly so that the users are protected and also provided with intelligent automation capabilities.
How do you nurture innovation and values within your team?
Yeah, this is a topic that I'm quite passionate about, and this drives me. I say that innovation is like oxygen. We have to keep innovating. In our teams, the way we do this, instill these values, is by leading by example. And one of the things I really enjoy being an entrepreneur, being a business leader, is that I get to work with these amazing people one-on-one. I spend quite a bit of time working with each and every individual in our organization. I really like to get to know them, work with them, talk to them, not only in the work context, but also to understand what motivates them, who their family members are, where they come from, what are their goals and, needs and wants. And often you'll be surprised that you uncover very interesting, different things than, you would typically think of. And that all possible because you build that direct connection with that human being. So being a transparent leader, being honest with your conversations, and really wanting every individual in our team to be successful and doing whatever we can. We can't do everything that is required, but the things that we can do, we are not afraid to do them. We will be forthcoming with that help. And that has been the way we've been building our teams and managing our people. That is probably one of the reasons we got a lot of people that are working for us that 10 years, 15 years, 7 years with us in the company. Some alumni have come back and worked for us the second time around. And we have a great network of people because of all these hundreds of staff that came and worked with us and left because of that positive experience they had. But at the same time, there are also some people who have had not so great experiences as well, because we are also learning and improving. We are in business. This is our 17th year of operations. So a lot of things have changed. We learned a lot throughout the COVID years and the remote working environment. And now with AI, we are empowering our staff with a lot of new technology and tools, and the way we work is very different compared to a few years ago. So I think leadership is really about taking the challenging situation as an opportunity, and to really show the values by leading by example.
Yeah. I couldn't help but notice the change you mentioned with the introduction of AI and how it's different to what you did 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
How important and critical is the willingness to change, and not just within you, but everyone else that is working with you?
Look, I think that people change either because it's so painful not to change, or it's so pleasurable to change. They're the two driving sort of factors, pain or pleasure. I believe that it is really comfortable for everybody to change before the pain forces us to change. Yeah. But the human behavior is such that people change, for either of the two being the reason. But by talking about change as an environmental factor, and in the tech world, people know that because the technology changes quite often, right? The tools changes, the browser get updated every week, you know what I mean? The operating system change, the databases change. So the people who work in the tech sector kind of used to a little bit of that in their day-to-day sort of life. But we know that there are customers of ours that prefer to still use paper and pen, prefer to still use telephone to talk to someone. But it's not a bad thing. The technology has to enable people, has to meet people where they are and take them along the journey. I'm a firm believer of that. And this is what I call the caring for the customer. So when we build solutions, we really look at the diversity of the customer and their needs, and we kind of engineer solutions to sort of meet that. So if 80%, 90% of your customer is using an iPhone, doesn't mean that we ignore the 20% that's not using iPhone, right? So it's like that, just as, the responsive solutions we build are important, we also have to make sure that, we cater for the diverse needs of our customer base. And we take that into consideration when we are designing and delivering our solutions.
In 3 words, what sort of legacy are you hoping to leave one day in the tech space?
Look, personally, I would like to be remembered as someone that, against all odds, didn't give up and did some great things for the people that I worked with and worked for, and really helped empower our customers. A lot of that has been already, proven in the case studies and testimonials that we've received from customers. So we are already well on the way of creating a legacy for our company and myself. I've also invested in a lot of startups, mentored a lot of young entrepreneurs. I helped a lot of other people out of the way, gave opportunities for a lot of people, and I take immense pride in that. Because I think that you want to be the change that you seek, right? So if you didn't get help, or if you had a particular bad experience or suffering, you should take the initiative to make sure that no one else had to have that experience or to go through that pain. Yeah. Not necessarily everybody, but at least somebody doesn't experience the same pain, or the pain is a little less. So that is the sort of thing that I do, and I hope people remember me as such. So as a person who left the world a little bit better, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
So what's obviously noticed through this conversation is the leadership you gave this organization, right? We cannot avoid that question, and we cannot not ask you this. What does meaningful leadership means to you in this day and age?
Look, I would still say that leadership is definitely about being a great role model, leading by example. And at the same time, if we could take a balanced approach that not everybody is going to be suitable for a single approach. We have world full of introverts and extroverts. We have people that are outgoing, highly energetic, and there are people that are generally not so much like that. So a leadership has to cater for the diverse environment. There are people with disabilities, there are people with extra abilities. So you need to consider and cater for all of that in order to achieve the organization that you're leading and its goals. And I think the sort of efficient leadership is something that takes the least amount of effort and the shortest path to success, but balancing all these other aspects of being transparent, being respectful of people, being supportive of people, and taking that into consideration. Not so much about only focusing on achieving the goals of the organization, but also achieving the goals, personal or otherwise, of the people that are involved in any organization. That includes your customers, your partners, the society that you live in, and the future employees as well.
What is the biggest myth about AI?
I think the biggest one that still people are talking about is that AI is going to replace humans and it's going to take every job, and we're all going to be sitting and doing nothing. That's the biggest myth, I think, because what's actually happening now is all the jobs are changing, all the roles are changing to also encompass AI and other technologies. So what's going to happen is that there'll be some roles that will be gone that are completely automated, but there will be a lot more new roles that are augmented by AI. So that's the biggest thing that I think that people have to sort of keep in mind when you are facing this immense change of technology influencing a fast-paced advancement and automation of day-to-day life. But it's not going to replace humans, or not all jobs are going to go.
Right. What is the one decision that changed your life?
I still think starting Jeylabs back in 2009 is the huge decision that I made, and that changed the entire trajectory of my life. So I would encourage everybody and anybody who wanting to start a business or to get on the entrepreneurial path to give it a go.
Any final messages out there to our viewers?
Entrepreneurial success is often measured by monetary status and the cars you drive and the house you have and so on. It's not true. There are a lot of successful people, business owners, that you wouldn't even recognize them. So I would say that don't aim for material success only. Material success is a measure, it will come, and you won't get to that quickly as an entrepreneur. If you start a business today, don't expect to become the most successful entrepreneur within a year or 5 years or 10. Great things take time. That is something that is important to keep in mind. It's a lot of patience. So that's why it's important that you have passion for the thing that you are working hard for. Otherwise, you won't be able to sustain that long journey. So that's something that I would say that anybody starting an entrepreneurial journey to keep in mind.
I think it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. I think you've given some very handy tips on what motivated you and why others out there should think about entrepreneurship and give it a go and take the risks that are educated risks that also would make you successful in life, like such as where you've come. Jey Srikantha, it's been an absolute pleasure having you with Talk with Jey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Dilip, and thank you for the wonderful questions,
No
man.
worries.
Appreciate
and
that.
to our listeners out there, our viewers, if you want to meet so many other people like Jey, please do tune in to Talk with Jey by Udawwa.